Hello everybody, hope you are doing well. So today we will be starting with the programming language Java, and for this we are going to follow the book Learning Java and Introduction to Real World Programming by O'Reilly. This book is available on Amazon and other websites as well. So we are going to follow this book in order to learn how to program in Java. Today basically we'll be going through with the introduction, so we won't be coding much, but then as soon as we get to the coding exercises of this book, we will start with to code as well. This is basically the introduction to Java, and this is basically regarding the the author and the content. This is basic. It is the sixth edition. We will be following this book. This is a very famous book. Okay, so here is basically the introduction. This is the introduction to Java, about like what Java is, what who owns Java, why was like Java developed, what was the need to have Java, and then slowly by slowly we'll dive deep into other features such as type safety, method binding, operators, loops, and as you see, there are exercises as well. So I'm not installing Java today. I will just go through the introduction, like I mean regarding Java, why Java was used, what are the advantages of Java, and that's all. So in the next class, that is tomorrow, we will be installing JDK from scratch, and I'll explain each and every step why we need to do that specific step. And once we have the JDK installed, then I'll be talking about what is IntelliJ environment. I'll create the first project, and as in any language, the first program that we write is hello world. So then we will be writing hello Java. This is basic from classes onwards. This is basically getting more into the object oriented programming, why Java is a object oriented programming language. Um, and then we will learn various features of the JDK that we have downloaded. So JDK basically stands for Java Development Kit. Now, as in when you download an app, you download an SDK or a software development kit. Similar to that is the JDK. And then we will be talking about different types of datas, variables, constants. We will also look at Java docs. Then we will check. So, uh, so the advantages of using arrays, why we need to create arrays, how can we create. So basically when we use variables, since Java is a strictly typed language, we cannot store data of different data types. So, and a variable will only contain one single data. So to store an array of data, we use like to store, suppose if you have four numbers, so we will have to declare four variables, such as variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, and variable 4. But using arrays, we can declare a single array, and we can store all those for values. And okay, and then we will be coming about to the core feature of Java, that is object oriented. Why Java is an object oriented language. Then we will be studying what are classes, methods, local variables, static methods, various types of constructors, garbage collection, how objects are handled, how what is the difference between reference types and primitives. Then we will go through inheritance. Then this is in case so the problem with so what happens is if we do not, then we will deal with how to handle errors. So if we do not handle the errors, that does not lead to a graceful termination of the program. Hence, to have a graceful termination of the program, we will be doing error handling, and then generics and collections. And then we will come to a topic called as multi-threading, how we can you know uh, use multi-threading, make a multi-threaded program instead of using a single thread. And then we will basically do with reading and writing to a file, and then lambda expressions. Now lambda expression is basically how we can write Java more easily. And then we will be coming into streams. We won't be diving much into this part, but we will then, once we have completed core Java, then we will move to maybe servlet or design a GUI, and then move to the most famous topic of today, that is Spring Boot, and learn about microservices as well. Okay, so now we are going to begin the first chapter, that is a modern language. Why was the need to learn Java in the first place itself? Now, okay, so Java was the seeds of Java, or it was um, founded in 1990 by Sun Microsystems. At that time, Sun was a very small workstation, while Microsoft was beginning its domination. So, as we all know, Microsoft has this bad habit of whatever is famous, Microsoft will go and buy it. So Ryan Gosling James Gosling is the creator of Java. He made a name for himself. He was the one who founded Java. Now, why was there a need for Java? So, like previously, we had languages like C and C++. So, C++ is basically adding object-oriented features to C language. Now, the problem is we need to, like C and C++ were machine dependent language. That basically means so, but Java became an uh, machine independent language. So it was like write once and run everywhere, or also called as the Vora principle. Now Java basically what it does is it produces a bytecode. Now this bytecode can run on, and we need a Java runtime interpreter to run the bytecode. The bytecode is basically the core machine level language. Now Java is a both compiled and interpreted language. That means first when we start executing the program, first we need to check for any syntactical errors. So the first command we run is Java C, and then we give it to the interpreter. Yeah, so what basically is trying to do is once we have the bytecode, now this same bytecode can be run on different machines. Only the irrespective of where the code actually was written. But in languages before to Java, the drawback was the code was heavily dependent on the machine. Like there was no independent principle. Now C++ was basically as C++, it basically implies that class feature has been, so like C language is a structure oriented language, or it is basically a procedural language. It has functions, but it does not have the feature of using classes and objects. So to include this feature, uh, another language was discovered, which was C++, which basically had all the functionalities of a class, where you could write a class, perform inheritance, have an constructor. And the problem with those languages were they are very dependent on the machine on which the code is written. For example, if I write a C++ code on Unix, and then I try to run it on a PC on a Windows machine, it wouldn't let me do that because it is machine dependent. However, with Java, the main advantages was, since Java was like converted to bytecode, the only thing that we needed to run Java was basically a JVM. The Java runtime machine could be installed on irrespective on which machine the code was written, whether it be a Unix system or a Mac OS or a Windows operating system. Irrespective of the operating system, as we could run this code, we could run the bytecode now on um, like any machine. Only thing that we needed to have was a Java virtual machine or a JVM environment. So basically, this basically is telling us the no, we haven't started to write Java, so basically ignore why the fundamental unit of Java code is a class or something. Mm, yeah, so Java compliant classes, as it is written here, it gets converted to a bytecode. Now this bytecode, you just have a JVM installed on any of these machines, and you can run your Java program, irrespective of where the code was written on which operating system. Okay, so the Java, not to increase the efficiency, some additional features were also added. One of them was a just-in-time compiler, or a JIT. So as and when we like actually start writing code, we will, or how memory is assigned to various variables, we will then come across this point about JIT, or also just-in-time compiler. Okay, now why Java is so used in the industry today? Like mostly on, if you see the demand for Java is also increasing. Like it's never gone down with Spring and Spring Boot coming up. But why did the other languages? I mean, so since Java provided all, like it provided speed, security. Now portability is basically when you can run on one machine, sorry, code on one machine and run it on. But then other languages lacked in one of the other feature. Either they were portable or they were lacking some aspect. So because in C and C++, I guess we still have an issue with security. However, C is a very, since it is very easily accessible, so it has a very high speed. Now C hash is, I don't know whether we use it. I have never learned C hash. Also, the language for web is basically JavaScript, which is very definitively used with Node.js, with the runtime of with because JavaScript can now be run on Node.js, which is basically instead of using the browser to run JavaScript or using the Chrome V8 engine, uh, we can have the Nodes runtime and have the JavaScript runtime environment without the need for any browser. Of these, basically, we will study when we go ahead. This is again memory management, which we will study when we. Oh yeah, and yeah, Java does have exceptional handling, or basically gracefully terminating the program in case if there is any error. Multi-threading, we have already seen that. So Java also enables us to encapsulate things. This is again a pillar of object-oriented programming. The bytecode which we already studied. So okay, this is basically gives us like different variations of Java 1, Java 2. The current version that we use is basically Java 7. Yeah, presently it's Java 21 or Java 7, I guess. Oh, so what is the open source development? JDK, the Java runtime environment, basically. Name the two components that play a role. One is Java's approach to securely running the bytecode. Mm, I guess currently it is maintained by, it was taken over by Sun Microsystems. I don't know who is maintaining it now. It shouldn't be written here in the first page. Mm, yeah, it was later on taken by Microsoft. So I guess it's, I guess it is maintained by Microsoft now. Yeah, right now it's maintained by Oracle. Mhm. And this is basically the introduction to about Java. So yeah, so we will be installing the JDK in the upcoming lectures, not today. That's it for this video. Thanks.